Have you ever noticed it? The Gemini in your life seems to live on fast forward. They're a whirlwind of motion, curiosity, and endless surprises. Yet somehow, the older they get, the younger they look. It's a paradox that defies logic. What is their secret? In this video, we're not just sharing shallow tips. I am going to reveal the 20 psychological and energetic reasons behind the Gemini's eternal youth. We'll unpack everything from their playful habits to their deepest mental frameworks. But pay close attention, because one reason in particular, number 2, might completely change how you define youth itself. My name is Anya Sage. As a psychological astrologer, it's my job to decode these cosmic blueprints. And today, we're cracking the code on agelessness. And as we crack this code, our investigation begins with you. So, before we go any further, I have to know. Drop your zodiac sign in the comments and be honest. Have you ever been told you look younger than your actual age? Whether you're a Gemini or a Capricorn, I want to see the patterns for ourselves. I'll be reading Eve, a 2-part engine that runs 24/7, keeping them years, even decades, behind the curve of conventional aging. The first part is the software, the Ageless Mind. The second is the hardware it runs on, the vibrant expression. Let's start with the operating system. Because youth, true youth, is an inside job. It begins in the mind. There's a saying I love, when your mind stays active, your soul does too. For Gemini, this isn't a motivational quote. It's a biological imperative. Their first and most critical mental trait is an endless, almost aggressive curiosity. This isn't just a mild interest in things, it's a hunger. A 50-year-old Capricorn might think about learning a new skill. A 50-year-old Gemini is 3 weeks into an obsessive deep dive on quantum computing or ancient Sanskrit, not for a career change, but because they stumbled upon an article and simply had to know more. Their brain is a web browser with 100 tabs open, and they are actively engaged with every single one. This cons. A mind that does the same stays sharp, agile, and youthful. You see it when they talk. They leap from topic to topic, drawing connections that no one else sees. It's not scattered. It's a breathtaking display of high-speed processing. This mental agility keeps them from ever getting stuck in a single, rigid worldview. Their perspective is always in beta, always updating, which brings us to their absolute love for the new. Geminis are pioneers of the present moment. They are the friend who convinces you to try that bizarre new restaurant, who downloads the social media app everyone else is still making fun of, who is already bored of the trend you just discovered. This isn't about being cool. It's a deep-seated need for fresh stimulus. The opposite of youth is stagnation, and Geminis instinctively recoil from it. This gives them a fresh, almost shockingly current mentality. They don't have to try to relate to younger generations. They're already consuming the same new ideas, music, and information out. This is why you'll see them suddenly rearrange their entire apartment, not because they're redecorating, but because they couldn't stand the energy anymore. They will take a different route to work, change their morning coffee order, or switch hobbies quarterly. This isn't inconsistency. It's a conscious strategy to disrupt energetic patterns and prevent life from becoming a predictable, grayscale movie. They are chaos agents in their own lives, and that chaos is the very source of their vitality. Now, if that's the software, the perpetually active, curious, anti-routine mind, how does it manifest? That brings us to part 2 of the foundation, the vibrant expression. This is how that inner youth becomes a visible, tangible, and infectious reality. It starts with their easy smiles. A Gemini smile isn't a polite social gesture. It's an event. It's a sudden crack in their neutral expression that floods their face with light. They laugh from the gut and smile with their eyes. This frequent muscle act. Their hands are a second voice. Their posture shifts with every emotional beat. They lean in, they recoil. They use their whole body as a communication tool. This constant animation and physical dynamism sends a clear signal. This is a body filled with energy, not one winding down. It's a restlessness that reads as vitality, not anxiety. This energy even infuses their voice. It's not about pitch, but cadence. There's a lightness, a cheerful and varied tempo to how they speak. They get excited and their words tumble out. They find something funny and their voice lilts. Compare that to the monotone, flat delivery of someone who is bored with life. A Gemini's voice dances, and it makes you want to dance with it. All of this is part of their famously playful personality. And here, we must make a critical distinction, the one that separates true youthfulness from simple immaturity. It's not childish, it's childlike. There is a universe of difference. Childish is throwing a tantrum when you don't get why. This is their superpower. They have an innate ability to not let life's burdens weigh them down physically. When a minor disaster strikes, spilling coffee all over a clean shirt right before a meeting, the adult reaction is stress, anger, and a spiral of negativity. The Gemini reaction is to stare at the abstract pattern it made for a second, let out a short, sharp laugh at the absurdity of it all, and figure out a solution. They decouple events from ego, preserving their energetic reserves for what truly matters. And finally, all this culminates in their enthusiastic communication style. A Gemini can make a trip to the grocery store sound like an epic quest. The story will have side plots, character cameos, moments of suspense, and a hilarious conclusion. Their need to process information and share it, combined with their mental agility and expressive energy, makes them captivating storytellers. This act of enthusiastic sharing is, in itself, a profoundly youthful act. It is the opposite of the J, a mind that refuses to stand still, and a body that can't help but express that inner motion. But this is just the foundation. It's the visible part of the iceberg. The real game-changing secret lies deeper. It's in the architecture of their soul. And yes, it has everything to do with that reason number 2 I promised you. And I can practically hear the gears turning in some of your minds. All this talk of endless curiosity, playfulness, hating routine, it sounds great on paper. But let's be brutally honest for a second. Couldn't you just call that a lack of focus? A short attention span? Isn't this ageless spirit just a well-bred case of Peter Pan syndrome? A fundamental refusal to truly grow up? It's a fair question. And if you only look at the surface, you could absolutely build that case. But that would be a surface-level diagnosis of a deep-level phenomenon. The definitive line between childlike genius and childish immaturity is drawn by their single most powerful, most misunderstood. It is the very definition of freedom. This is the secret. This is reason number 2. This is the master key that unlocks every other trait we've discussed. For centuries, this core Gemini characteristic has been misunderstood, maligned, and twisted into a caricature of inconsistency and untrustworthiness. You've heard it. I've heard it. They say one thing and do another. You never know which twin you're going to get. This is a surface-level reading, a fundamental misinterpretation of one of the most powerful adaptive mechanisms in the entire zodiac. What the world labels as inconsistency, the Gemini experiences as optionality. What looks like confusion is, in fact, clarity. The quote I want you to burn into your mind is this: duality isn't confusion, it's freedom. It's the freedom to hold 2 opposing ideas in your head at the same time, and not just function, but thrive. It's the freedom to be both the student and the teacher, the skeptic and the believer, the comedian and the philosopher, all. It runs multiple realities simultaneously, constantly comparing, contrasting, and cross-referencing. This is why they question everything. This is why they can see your point of view, their point of view, and a third point of view you haven't even considered yet. This isn't being fake, it's being comprehensive. Let me make this tangible for you. Picture the classic holiday dinner. It's a minefield of generational gaps and awkward silences. Now, watch the Gemini. At one end of the table, they're huddled with their 16-year-old cousin. They're not just nodding along. Their eyes are lit up, they're leaning in, their hands are moving as they deconstruct the latest TikTok trend. They get the humor, they understand the references, they speak the language fluently. They are, in that moment, fully inhabiting that youthful, fast-paced digital world. 10 minutes later, you see them at the other end of the table with their 80-year-old great-uncle. The energy has completely shifted. Their posture is more. They are not faking interest. They are genuinely interested. They are a bridge, a living, breathing bridge between generations, ideologies, and worlds. This isn't being two-faced. This is being a diplomat of the human experience. This is adaptability made manifest. This core duality is the engine that powers their master skill, unmatched adaptability. For most people, change is a source of stress. A new job, a new city, a new social circle. It requires a period of painful adjustment. For Gemini, change is just another channel to tune into. Their dual nature means they don't have a rigid identity to protect. They can shed skins with an ease that looks almost supernatural. They integrate into new environments, new friend groups, and new subcultures without friction because a part of them already belongs there. They are social chameleons, but not in a way that erases their identity. Instead, it expands it. This explains their famously wide circle of friends. They don't just have friends their own age. It keeps them culturally relevant, intellectually stimulated, and spiritually flexible. And it fuels that eternal teenage spirit we mentioned. A teenager's defining quality is their instinct to question the status quo, to challenge established truths. Because a Gemini can always see an alternative reality, they never fully accept the default one. They are always asking, but what if? Why not? This isn't rebellion for its own sake. It's a non-stop internal dialogue that prevents their mind from ever settling into the concrete of fixed belief. So, what happens when you have a mind that moves this fast, a social life this varied, and a spirit this adaptable? The body has to keep up. This is where it all comes full circle. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, intellect, and, crucially, movement. Their constant youthful energy is the physical manifestation of their restless mind. It has to go somewhere. This is why they have a restless body. The foot tapping, the finger drumming, the pacing while on the phone. It's not nervousness. It's cognitive surplus burning off. It's a mind moving at 200 miles per hour in a body that's trying to obey the speed limit. They are literally humming with an energy that most people lose after childhood, and that energy is contagious. This is their ultimate gift, their final secret. Being around a Gemini is like plugging your own battery into a high-speed charger. Their curiosity sparks your own. Their playfulness gives you permission to be silly. Their endless stream of ideas and stories pulls you out of your own mental ruts. They don't just stay young, they make the people around them feel younger too. Their vitality is a contagion, spreading through conversation, laughter, and shared discovery. They remind you that the world is far bigger, far more interesting, and far more fun than you remembered. That, right there, is the true, undeniable magic of Gemini. But what does that magic actually look like in a quiet, everyday moment? Away from the witty debates and the grand theories, let me paint you a picture. Imagine a family dinner. A teenage niece is excitedly showing a silly new viral dance on her phone. From the other end of the table, a grand uncle scoffs, muttering about nonsense. The air gets thick. It's a classic generational standoff. And then you see her, the 70-year-old Gemini aunt. She doesn't scold the uncle or preach about understanding youth. Instead, a twinkle lights up her eyes. She slowly gets up and, with a laugh, clumsily mimics one of the dance moves. She's terrible at it, and she knows it. Well, she announces to the room, "My spirit is willing, but my knees just tendered their resignation." Suddenly, the tension is gone, replaced by a wave of laughter. That right there, it's not childish, it's childlike. It's the genius of finding a third way, a way that chooses joy over being right. This same spirit, this refusal to be boxed in by what's age-appropriate, is exactly what you see in their personal style. They don't dress by age rules, they dress by energy. Their closet isn't a uniform. It's a costume box for the soul. One day, it's a vintage rock t-shirt and worn-in jeans. The next, it's a sharp, elegant blazer. They can pull off trends that others wouldn't dare to try, not because they're chasing youth, but because their style is just another channel for their curiosity. They literally wear their interests, their moods, their ever-changing inner world. And that inner world, that vibrant, ever-changing core, is the engine behind everything we've talked about today. So let's distill it down. The gem. This is the source of that childlike sparkle, the easy laughter, the energetic gestures. It's a spirit that chooses playfulness over posture, joy over judgment. It understands that youth is a frequency you broadcast, not a feature you possess. And finally, a radically adaptable soul. This is the master key, the freedom of duality we spoke of, the ability to connect with anyone, flow through any change, and reinvent yourself endlessly. It's what ensures they don't just live longer, they live younger. But here is the final secret. This code isn't locked away for Geminis alone. It's a blueprint for vitality. Because when you embody this energy, you don't just feel young. You help others feel young too. And that is what makes you timeless. If this journey into the Gemini psyche resonated with you, show your support with a like. And to make sure you never miss another deep dive into the hidden codes of the Zodiac, subscribe to this channel right now. These analyses often walk a fine line and can get flagged. It's the only way to guarantee we stay connected for what's coming next.